Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome to today's episode of 49 Faithfullee. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, we're celebrating today. We're
That's
hyped in
right.
here. You know the vibes. Deebo Samuel extended, signed his contract extension. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I just want to give a kudos to you and I because we kind of predicted what was going on with the guaranteed money. So, yeah, I like that. I don't really toot my own horn too much, but I'm going to toot it this time because me and Mariah kind of called the guarantee. So, yeah, I'm happy about it. It's a it's an excellent domino that fell, our way and not the wrong way. So yeah, I'm so happy about it. Now we can go out there with our full, almost pretty much our full offense and start some chemistry with Trey and his wide receivers. So
Yep. First day of training camp with pads on. Deebo was signed in time to participate. Of course, wasn't a full participant because, it's his first day back doing stuff. So, but yeah, let's kind of talk about, his contract compared to the other wide receivers that also signed around this time, most of them with the same agent. Um, and added with that, the some little details are coming out now that the 49ers put some incentives in there that if he rushes a certain amount of times, he gets paid more. If he gets a certain amount of rushing touchdowns. So what about that specifically? What did you think about that being added into the contract? Because to me, like that, the number of rushes seems high. Like I wouldn't expect that he would even be used in that amount of rushes.
well, maybe that's why they put that in the contract because they don't
Yeah.
expect really to use them that much. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad the way they did the contract the way they did. It's not embarrassing like they did Kyler Murray's contract where they had him doing film study and all this other stuff. I think what they gave him is about right. Even though Debo's going into his fourth year, he is one of the older wide receivers of his draft class.
Yeah.
He's already 26 years old and only been in the league for 3 years. So, yeah, I think it's a great contract. I don't think he gets used much as a running back. I think there will be some games where they have him in the backfield. So does it count as how many snaps he takes a running back or how many carries he gets?
Yeah, I thought it was carries at first when I seen it, but now on Adam Schefter's, his says Debo will receive 650,000 per year for each year he has 380 or more rushing yards,
Oh,
and then he'll also earn 150,000 if he scores 3 rushing touchdowns in any one
hmm.
year. He maxes out at 650,000 per year and 1.95 million over the life of his new contract.
Oh yeah, I think that's pretty smart. I personally hope. I mean, he's great at what he does. Obviously he's going to be used at some capacity as a running back. The end of rounds and stuff like that. But I feel like our running back room is going to be strong enough to where he doesn't have to do that as much. There's going to be some games where I think maybe it's kind of tight and maybe the passing ain't is what it used to be, what it's supposed to be. And he'll get used back there, even as a decoy sometimes. Just put him
Right.
back there to scare people so they can crowd the line of scrimmage. Then it'll just open things up in general. So I expect Ray McLeod to take some snaps behind the line of scrimmage at receiver. And then also with Trey Sermon and TDP and Elijah Mitchell at running back and possibly with the Jordan Mason. Hopefully Deebo can preserve his career and just strictly be a wide receiver. So yeah, that's what I think about the contract.
Yeah, when you talk about using him as a decoy, like last year it seemed that every time he was in the backfield, he got the ball no matter what. It's like it wasn't even no guessing for the defense. Debo was in the backfield, that ball was going to him. So this year, like you're saying, if we're able to use him as a decoy, like that'll be awesome because at least for the first few games before, defenses catch on, but they'll all be, it won't even be like any guessing work for him. They'll think, okay, Debo's back there, let's move up, and then Debo won't get the ball, so imagine what that does for the rest of our freaking offense. Um, and like I'm so excited because I just feel like things have kind of worked out. And once we saw when that video released from, I think it was Saturday, maybe Friday, um when Shanahan was on the sidelines, talking to Deebo, like out at practice and whatever. And, like you see, like they turn and obviously everybody's filming them probably at the entire place, sees those two talking. And so like they kind of turn their backs to everybody, and, like they kind of give like a little hug, pat, whatever. And it just seemed like that right there let us know, okay, things are going to work out. Um, I have been listening to some other content creators and seeing some things on Twitter that a lot of fans seem to, well, I won't say a lot, but I've seen quite a few fans that seem to be mad at Deebo. Like well, just because he signed and extended, we're not going to forget about, the shit that he did during this off season. We're not going to forget about the trade request, about, the stuff in the club, about all the comments. One of the big ones is they can't just forget that he liked that picture of him in the Cowboys uniform. Like that seems to be one of the big ones that fans are just pissed off about. And especially the older fans, because the older fans, and even us, we're not, social media ain't as big to us as it is now with the younger, crowd, right? So like that whole thing, like, and especially the older people, that Cowboys rivalry, whatever, I can't say that word.
Rivalry, yeah.
Yeah, that like is really strong with the older 49ers fans, right? And the newer fans, it's more like Seahawks, and we talk
Seahawks
about
and
that, all the time
Seahawks,
because
Rams more, yeah.
um so like so a lot of fans are kind of pissed off. um I'm personally, like I've told you guys this whole time that I wanted Deebo here. I wanted Deebo to be signed. However, if he didn't want to be here, don't keep him, right? So obviously, I don't know if it was the money that made that better, if it was, whatever, something happened that made it better. Obviously he wants to be there, or else he wouldn't have signed the contract and he'd be leaving, right? So I'm happy. I'm cool with it. Like, I have no hard feelings against the guy. Like I was, pissed off because he put in that trade request, and that was the thing I feel that took it over the line. But like I ain't gonna hold no hard feelings with the guy. Like there's fans saying like they can't even put him in their top, 49ers players, even if he balls out for the rest of his contract, like he'll never be there, like for them, like all this stuff. Like they're never gonna wear his jersey, never gonna, like nothing, So like, what are your thoughts? Are you holding any bad feelings towards him, any ill will, or how do you feel?
So like you said, it's mostly the younger crowd. Us people, the people I feel like in the late 30s and up, know what the rivalry is when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and stuff like that. And I can't stand them. I'm 42, so the hatred for the Dallas Cowboys runs deep. However, I'm not gonna be upset with what he. We're not gonna agree with everybody and what they did. Like people gonna do
Right.
what they do. I'm with you. I wanted Deebo to stay on this team. However, I'm team first. So if he truly didn't want to be here and they said, you know what, they traded him, although I wouldn't have been happy, I would understand it. So I'm not with these people like, oh, I'll never support him, blah blah blah. I think that's a little childish.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm looking at everything, and I'm looking at this fan base. And I am glad I only have one social media. I only got Twitter, because I've been hearing from friends that have Facebook, that Facebook is unbearable when it comes to Niner stuff, and I'm glad I don't have none of that nonsense. So the fact I only have Twitter and I can see how it is on Twitter, I feel like this fan base can be unbearable sometimes. I'm gonna keep it real. Sometimes these fans, like, I just don't get it. Like we're more at each other's throats than trying to support our team. So many people bringing them receipts. We live in a narcissistic type world, like a look at me type, where everybody wants to be right instead of just admitting they're wrong for the most part. So I'm seeing
Mhm.
everybody, is this you? You said Deebo was guaranteed to be traded. Like, who cares? People have their own opinions. People are going to do what they do. If people say that they thought they were going to be traded, so be it. So people thought they were going to stay, he was going to stay here, so be it. Like, it is what it is. So he's here now. Let's get over the nonsense. Let's celebrate him being here. Let's celebrate that our offense could possibly top five, because we have a quarterback who can attack the field, and we have all our weapons. You know what I mean? Like, so that's how I see it. Like, who cares what he did? Like I said, he's in his 20s. It's not like, he's still a young man.
Right.
26 years old. So like you said, social media to some of these young people are everything. That's what they live their life for. Like they get up and they go straight to social media because that's what they like. So yeah, that's how I see it. So yeah, let's just get over it. Who cares who was right? Who cares who was wrong? He's on this team for the next 4 years. And let's be happy about it and move on.
Yep. When it comes to like the contract structures and everything, like we saw, DK recently just get paid. We saw Terry, I think, was the one that was paid prior to that. And then AJ Brown, of course, got traded and signed, traded and extended.
Yeah, traded and extended. Yeah,
Yep.
by the Eagles. Yeah.
Um, so with the big thing obviously is the total guaranteed money, because it seems like no matter how many years, how many whatever else the money is, that can be, there's always like some bullshit years at the end, or we can still cut him and only lose this much money. And so a lot of players don't even see that full amount that they're signing for anyway. But that total guaranteed is where it's really at, because that's money that's coming into their pocket regardless. So with those four, it seems like Deebo, and this is the thing that's kind of crazy, is that it seemed like Deebo had the most noise this offseason out of all of them. And a lot of 49ers fans were under the impression that he was going to get the most money out of everybody, that he deserved the most money out of everybody. And some of these guys just quietly went about their business and got signed, like Terry. Like we said, one had to get traded to sign. One DK held in, like Deebo eventually was doing, and got signed. But, like we didn't hear, and even obviously with us being 49ers fans, we hear more 49ers news and 49ers fans complaining and bitching and crying and all this, right? But even regardless, like we still didn't hear like all that going on with these other wide receivers. So that being said, it seems like Deebo went through a whole lot of shit just to get paid what the rest of them got paid anyway. Not even the most out of all of them, not like pretty much they're all four right in line with each other. Like a couple of them have a little bit more guaranteed, a couple have a little more signing bonus, whatnot, but they're for the most part pretty much good in line with each other there. So that seemed like a whole lot of BS that him, the 49ers, the fans, everybody had to go through this offseason just to get what you were going to get anyway.
Yeah.
Like there was never a point that the 49ers were coming out and saying that they were shopping him or that they weren't going to sign him. They've always said, John Lynch has always said, Deebo and Bosa will be signed and will be 49ers as long as we're here. That's been said, and we kept saying all Deebo has to do is wait. Like the 49ers do business a certain way. They sign their players around the same time. But no, like he couldn't do that. And it's just crazy that all that shit just to be where we're at right now. And he was signed the last, he had to wait the longest after all that because he wanted to be paid the first. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It was like so much nonsense for months, 4 or 5 months of just back and forth. And is he going to get paid? And you hit the nail on the head towards the end when you said that 49ers do business a certain way. They always wait till the last minute. They always do it right around training camp, and that's just how they do business. They did it with Trent Williams. They did it with Fred Warner, George Kittle. Like they take, if you're a star on this team, they're going to take care of you. Unfortunately, we'll go back a couple of years. You had a situation where it was Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner both coming off a Pro Bowl. So it was like pick one or the other. And I feel like fans would have complained if it was either way. They decided to go a certain way. And same thing, they pay people when they see fit. Like they're the owners there. I mean, when it comes to the management team, they're going to do what they see fit. They want to see what other contracts are done. Everybody kept saying he deserved the 65 million guaranteed or 70 million guaranteed around with Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs and all them were getting. Everybody fought about it and said, no, I don't think he deserves that much. 1 year production versus their 6-7 years of production. So it was just a lot. And I feel like at the end of the day, he got what he deserved. And I feel like it's fair. So yeah, and it's good. I mean, his contract ends at the age of 29, so he can get paid again.
Right.
So yeah, and I think the 49ers were smart the way they do it. So kudos to them, even though a lot of people were a little upset and getting anxious, like, man, I want Deebo signed. It was just so much going on. But the fact that they did it for a 3-year deal, and to me is smart, because then, we can see at 29, or even when it comes to his last year, okay, he's still pretty good. He's been healthy. We're not tied to a 4 or 5 year contract. We'll see what he looks like after 3 years. And if he's still as good as he is in 2022, we can give him another 3-year extension, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I like the way they did that. And I think you said something to me, like with DK signing his 3-year, and Terry McLaurin, I believe you were like, is that what Deebo's going to get to? Is he getting a 3-year? So he ended up getting a 3. The only one who got a longer contract was AJ Brown. So yeah, I like the way. And man, that draft class was pretty special if you look at it as a whole. Deontay Johnson's in that draft class from Pittsburgh, and he hasn't got paid yet, and he was in their draft class. So that draft class with those 5 receivers have been amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, because it's actually the draft class after that one that everybody hyped up saying was the best wide receiver draft that we've seen in all this time. The one with Ayuk and CeeDee Lamb and all of them.
Justin Jefferson and all them, yeah.
And, this draft class has, been sneaky. And at this point, it seems like they're the better ones at this point,
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah.
Both years are pretty good.
Yeah, because Justin Jefferson, because I think Justin Jefferson, he's kind of carrying that draft class a little bit, but you still have the Jalen Waddles, who will probably start to break out and stuff like that. So yeah, I could think you look at them both; they're both pretty special. But yeah, I think right now, overall as a whole, I think that draft class with DK and AJ Brown is just a little bit better.
Yep. And this is that, that draft class with Ayuk and them, this is their 3rd year. And this is, when they say wide receivers and then break out. So hopefully, speaking of Ayuk and them, let's talk about them for a little bit, how training camp's been going. It seems that Ayuk, of course, has been the one shining through the wide receivers and on offense as a whole. No surprise there. And however, I kind of heard some things today coming out of training camp that had me a little bit worried for rookie wide receiver Danny Gray. It seems that he's not doing a whole lot very well. He can't get open. Of course, Ayuk and even Deebo and them, Jawan especially, is having trouble, getting open, creating separation against our corners. And they are, of course, going against one of the best defenses overall. But it just seems like, and this is something that people said about him, during the draft and whatever, is the way he caught the ball, that he would catch it with his chest and all this, and that seems to not have gotten any better. So the separation and all that against our defense, and of course he's a lot smaller, he's just a rookie, all that I can understand, but the fact that he doesn't seem like he's worked on his hands, his catching or anything very much. He's having a lot of drops, the ball hitting him in the chest and bouncing off for interceptions, stuff like that. And seems to be underwhelming, to put it nicely. I really hope that changes. But at this, I heard some people that were at training camp today, and they're starting to put, some of these other wide receivers on the roster over Danny Gray. These guys that, when we did our roster breakdown and everything, that we didn't even have making the squad. I feel like I don't see a scenario where Danny Gray doesn't make this team just because he was drafted so high, and this is what Kyle seems to have been looking for. Burner, like Danny Gray, we need him to be what he's supposed to be.
Exactly.
I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on everything that you've heard from him up until this point?
I've heard some of the same things, but then I heard sometimes he makes a spectacular play. Like once he beats the corner, like it's a wrap for the corner basically. But it's just him getting past them. So I know at SMU they run like a minimal route tree. They're not really like into that stuff. They're just pretty much like a go route type of thing, and or you know. So I think it's going to be with time. I mean, like you said, he was a draft pick. He was a top 100 pick, I believe, at that. Or no, I think 101. I think he was. He's top. You know, he was a day 2 pick.
Yeah.
So him being a day 2 pick, you know, him being healthy and stuff, he's gonna get a pass just because he might not be like the 4th or 5th receiver like we thought. He might end up being the 6th receiver, you know, kind of just goes in maybe on 3rd down to open some things up. But if Dante Pettis and Jalen Hurd can be on this team for 3 years, then so will Danny Gray. Kyle's going to give him a shot to make it right. And, you know, hopefully Leonard Hankerson, our new wide receivers coach, can get that cleaned up a little bit. But yeah, I mean, if it has to be him staying after practice, you know, getting on the jugs machines, whatever the case may be, then so be it. He's going to have to clean that up. You know, he's a rookie. I'm not too worried. We always talk about the rookies, you know, taking their bumps and bruises. You know, some of them got the jitters going on, you know, whatever the case may be. And I've seen people who suck in practice and then they perform in game time situations. Yeah. So he could be that type of person, which at the same time, you still need to show what you can do in practice so you can actually make the roster. But like I said, I think he's safer now. Like I said, you know, we saw the struggles with Dante Pettis. He stayed 2 years. We saw the struggles with Jalen Hurd and his injuries. He stayed. Danny Gray didn't get drafted in the 3rd round because they thought he was a slouch. So I think he gets a pass just because he's a wide receiver, and Kyle was a wide receiver. So Kyle, I feel like he spends a little bit more time trying to get these guys groomed. So Danny Gray's not going anywhere, at least for 2022.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me is like people that it just seems like everything that people said about him that were down on him coming out of the draft, like that's everything that we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
It's like, and yeah, you know, he can stay after and work on the jugs machine and all this, but will he? Does he have that drive to be great? Does he want to get better? You know, like that's 2 different things. Yeah, he can do that to improve, but will he?
Yeah, I think it's easier to talk a rookie into doing those type of things. I think Leonard Hankerson and Kyle, if they sit there and say, hey, I need you to stay an extra hour to do X, Y, and Z, I don't think he would fight him much. I know if I'm coming into a job fresh and they say, hey, this is what you're struggling at, you're going to work. It's not like it's Deebo. They're saying, hey, you need to stay extra. He's going to be like, I got plans or whatever. Somebody coming into a new system, because if you, like I said, SMU runs out of go routes and bubble screens. Their route tree is very minimal. So maybe he's just getting acquainted to being able to run a full route tree and stuff like that. Not too worried about him. Plus, too, like, you know, I feel like his first year is going to be like the one-trick pony type situation anyway, where they want him just to do go routes to stretch the field to open up things for others. You know, he could be someone like that. So, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. But you're right. Everything that was a negative for Danny Gray, it's showing on the field. But, yeah, he just needs to clean that up, work on his routes. And like I said, make it mandatory. I know there's a situation where they say, we're going to practice 2 hours, but I can guarantee you if Hankerson and Kyle hit him up and say, hey, we need you to stay half hour to an hour to work on your hands, he'll do it.
Yeah, hopefully you're right. I'm not too worried either, but I just don't think, like you said, I think he'll just be a one-trick pony this season. I don't think his role will be too great. And you know, I didn't know that about his college, you know, about their route tree or whatever, but that's one thing that I've heard, you know, about him is that his route running is not very good.
Yeah, it's not.
So,
you know,
hopefully,
he can get away with that stuff at SMU, you know, playing against, you know, that, you know, they play like North Texas and, you know, stuff like that. So he can get away with that because was just a better athlete. But yeah, this is the pros. You got to clean that up. So,
before we get into our next sub discussion, let's go ahead and start a giveaway. We'll give away this autographed Ambry Thomas card. So go ahead, drop your numbers in the chat, 1 through 100. If anybody's in here that doesn't know, we do a random giveaway number generator. So you just drop a number in the chat, 1 through 100. Make sure there's no duplicates. And once everybody's entered their number, then I'll go ahead and do a randomizer, and whoever wins will get the card. Good luck, everybody. So now that Deebo signed, our next puzzle piece that needs to fall into place, pretty much our final piece is getting 10 off this roster. For a while, a lot of us thought maybe he could possibly go to the Browns after the Deshaun Watson news, came out of how long he would be suspended until the Browns, signed other quarterbacks instead. So who knows? I don't think, especially after the Watson news came out today, that he'll be suspended 6 games. I doubt, they're trading for another quarterback for 6 games. They'll just roll with, who they got. So before we talk about where Jimmy could possibly go and, that whole situation, I know you wanted to touch on it, the whole Deshaun Watson situation. I know you had a talk at work and discussion on Spaces earlier, so I'll let you go ahead and just get into it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't even know how to come at this, but this is so first and foremost, I have a mom, I have a sister, I have 2 daughters. So, and I understand that people are saying, well, he wasn't proven guilty and stuff like that. And, I'm going with gut feeling. I'm not going to sit here and bash the man because I don't know exactly what went on behind closed doors. But over 25 women to me is a problem. Like there is no way that 25 or whatever the number was, 25 women, 28 women sat there and lied and called each other and had the same type of story. And it's so to me, just because you're proven innocent doesn't mean you're innocent, and just because you're proven guilty doesn't mean you're guilty. There's wrongful cases all the time. What bothers me, and I hope that like I said, out of all these cases, who knows who was telling the truth, who wasn't. All I'm saying is I'm here to protect these women. I hope that I just hate the fact that sometimes these women can be bought, because I feel like you're just defeating the purpose. Like to me, and I get it. Like if he's if him and his lawyer are offering every woman $500,000 to keep their mouth shut, whatever the case may be, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be enticing. But are you really helping other women for the future? I feel like there should be some people should just. I think some people should just swallow their pride and say, you know what, I don't care about the money. I want to, I was hurt. I want to protect these other women, and just come out and tell it like it is. Like your well-being and the way you were treated should not have a price. You should be able to come out and say, this is what's going on. This is what he did to me, and help yourself and help every other woman in the future, because you need to set a precedence, and you need to set an example to somebody at one point. Because I feel like money talks, and it takes away all these people's issues. Yeah, it'll help you financially, but mentally, are you there? You're going to be having these thought process of what's going on, and yeah, he really did X and Y, Z to me, and who knows, who it could have helped by proving him guilty. Like I said, I'm not here to bash the man, but it's just one of those things where I just hope that these women were telling the truth, and yet and things, all I'm going to say is I hope that due process was done right. I have a feeling it wasn't, because like I said, there is no way he's innocent on all 25 cases. I'm sorry. Like that's just my thought on it. That's my, and if I'm wrong, I have no problem coming out and saying that I'm wrong, and he was innocent, these women were lying. But it's just one of those things where, like, women's rights should be heard. These women should be protected. Like I said, I love all the women in my life. So if this was somebody who I love and this happened to, I'm like, look, I'm going to take care of you. Forget the money. We're going to get this dude behind bars. So I don't know. It's kind of a touchy subject, but I just hate the fact that, it sucks, because like money definitely is the root of all evil. Like it just, it just makes problems go away just because they're setting you up for your future. And I don't really care for that. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, I agree. I'll start by saying I'm happy that I'm not a Browns fan. And, I tweeted this the other day that I don't care if it's this sexual assault, if it's hurting a child, if it's hurting an animal, it's hurting a man, a woman. I don't give a shit. I'm not supporting you. I don't care if you play for my favorite team, if whatever. Like, if he was on my team right now, I wouldn't be supporting him. Like, that's not who I am. Um, and like, I just feel bad for a lot of the Browns fans who are now stuck in this situation where, because there is a lot of women that are Browns fans that won't root for this guy either, and so now they're stuck in the situation where football already tries to, I feel like it's hard to be a woman and to be a fan of football. The NFL doesn't make it easy for female football fans to be fans of them. Obviously the whole, we can't play football because we're women, we couldn't be coaches back then, like that's starting to, change now. But then you got constant reminders all the time about, first it started with Big Ben. It's, these players that beat up their girlfriends or whatever and serve a little bit of a suspension and come back. And all of a sudden, the whole fan group's already acting like they're superstars again. And, like I don't know. It's just really hard to be a fan of the NFL when you're a woman. And there's constant reminders of why. So
Yeah.
I'm just happy that this guy's not my quarterback. There was once upon a time before all this shit went out where I was hoping that this guy was our quarterback. And, it makes me sick to my fucking stomach, to be honest.
Yeah, it's so tough, but I'm glad that the NFL is just, I mean, they're also hopefully doing what they need to do because he got suspended the 6 games, but that was from the woman judge that gave him that. And I heard some story, and I don't know how right I am, whatever the case may be, but they were scared to give him more because they were scared a lawsuit was going to be involved.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, oh, I don't want to give him more than 6 games because I don't want him trying to sue us. So they technically only gave him 6 games because of the possible lawsuit. But now the NFL can get involved and do what they do. But it just looks bad. I don't care who you are. I can sit here and tell my 12-year-old daughter, this person got suspended for 6 games because he had these allegations of over 20 women saying he sexually assaulted them, and they suspended this one guy a whole season because he bet $1,500 on his team. You know what I mean? And my daughter would look at me like, what? Like, and and she's 12, and she would even be like, well, how is that possible? So it just doesn't look right on paper. It doesn't sound good. Like you said, like David McNews said, if it was somebody like me, I don't got that kind of money. I can't have a lawyer and pay women, $1 million a piece or whatever the case may be to shut their mouths because I can't control their financial future. Deshaun Watson and any of these athletes, well, these higher athletes that are making $25 million a year can sit there and change something on the drop of a dime. Hey, shut your mouth and I'll give you $500,000. Cool. You know what I mean? And that sucks because I just wish that a lot of these women's mentality wasn't like that. I just, but I'm not going to sit here and judge anybody. Somebody offers you $1 million to keep your mouth shut. It's hard to turn that down. Let's be honest here. However, if you really want to stop the purpose and stop these women from being sexually assaulted, you gotta take a stand and say, screw the money. You mess with my well-being. Now I feel a certain type of way inside. Like I'm hurt. This and that. Screw your money. You need to be punished. But unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work that way because some people are just bought out. So, and it's sad.
Yeah, and it just came out, last night or I think last night that, he had paid off 4 more of them or, leaving just one of them not. And that includes the Solis, Miss Solis, the very first girl that came out and started this whole thing, started the whole trail of all these girls coming out. She was officially paid off yesterday as well. So, yeah. And we talked about this before, about the whole coming out and saying something and then taking money to just have it go away, and you're never going to be able to speak about it again. You're never, so to me, and I told you this as well, like if I'm going to come forward and do something like that, I would never be the type of person that I'm going to take the money, to shut up, because that's then on me when he goes out and does that same shit to somebody later.
Absolutely.
That could have been stopped had I kept, my foot on his fucking throat like it should be instead of taking the damn money.
Yep.
Like that's then, that blood's on your fucking hands,
Yeah.
So like that's something, I don't know. Like
Absolutely.
It takes so much courage and so much everything for these women to come forward and then just to be, take the money. And I don't think it's been released how much these girls are even getting. It probably never will be. He could be paying them off freaking $20 million a piece. He could be paying them off $500,000. We'll never know. And like it's just sad that you go through all this. And my whole thing is he could have not. I don't know. Like you don't have that many girls coming forward about something and nothing happened. Something fucking happened. And that's what makes it even worse, that you guys went through what you went through. You go through everything you had to go through to come out, and then you just take money to just shut up and go away and pretend nothing ever happened.
And here's the thing with that too, Miriah. Like, how if this stuff continues to happen, at one point, they're gonna not take you women serious.
Yeah.
Oh, well, just pay her off and she'll shut. Yeah, let's pay her off. She'll shut up. I mean, like you said, the Big Ben thing, and the list goes on with all these athletes. In all sports, having these allegations like, oh, he sexually assaulted. He did this in a hotel room. He did X, Y, and Z. And it's just like, but you never hear about any of them getting convicted. It's just, oh, he suspended 6 games. So you're doing a slap on the wrist because he paid somebody and set them up for their future. And if that's my daughter, I don't care what nobody says. You can say, oh, well, you can say that because the money's not offered. You do that to my daughter, I don't care if you hit me with, oh, let me give you $2 million to shut up. No, I'm not taking that money. And now I'm suing you on top of that for bribing me because you're trying to pay me off.
Yeah.
So that right there to me is just ridiculous. Like I said, you're right. They already don't take the women serious because all you have to do is go in there and whisper in their ear a little bit. Hey, shut up. I'll give you $1 million. And I'm sure they make it sound so good. You can quit your job today. You don't have to massage anymore. Give you $1 million. I'll buy, you can buy yourself a home, cash, whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. And then these women just go off into the sunset. You never hear from them again. Yet, like you said, your blood is on somebody's hand. It doesn't have to be blood. It can, but the situation's on somebody's hands because you personally were scared to step up, or all these women were scared to step up and just say, yeah, he did this. I'm not taking his money. I'm going through, like you said, keep your foot on his throat and take that let that man do some jail time and see how he likes it to be sexually assaulted in prison.
Yeah. And like Melissa says, like we've had all these NFL players and not even just NFL, sports stars, whatever, that get suspended, to get all this, fines and everything, like Josh Gordon, whatever, for weed charges and all this shit. And, like he's Josh Gordon. Yeah. Like he kept smoking weed over and over. I get it. But like he's paid more fines and been suspended longer than any of these other fucking people that have beat their kids, fought dogs, freaking, beat up women, beat up old people, like drove drunken driving and hitting people, like carrying guns, all this other shit because he smoked weed. Like,
yeah, you're absolutely right. And I will give props to the Baltimore Ravens and the Niners, because when Bruce Miller, our old fullback, when he beat up that old man at the hotel and assaulted him, we were like, nope, you're gone. And he never got a job in the NFL after that. And same thing with Ray Rice. When we seen him hit his woman in the elevator like she was a dude and knocked her out cold as she's falling, hits her head on the elevator rail and is knocked out, he was gone. Huh? Yeah, that video was horrendous. He was gone and he never got a job again. So, so kudos to organizations like that don't put up with it. They're like, no, I'm tired of this. You're gone. So, but like you said, it's going to be sad because he'll serve his 6 games if that's all he gets. Hopefully Roger Goodell has the balls to be like, no, you're suspended, 11 games and then he's gone for the season, but I doubt it. But he's going to go in there. He'll probably do his 6 to 9 games or whatever the case may be, come back, start throwing touchdown passes and winning games, and it'll be all forgotten.
Yep. You have all these people in the stands with freaking Watson jerseys on, like freaking disgusting. Ryan says, why can't he just get a working girl? And that's the thing, like, a lot of people want to compare it to the owner or whatever, Robert Kraft from the Patriots, and like about him going to the massage therapy places and getting a happy ending and whatever. Like, that's a completely different thing. Like, Robert Kraft's going to a place that was in a sting fucking operation for giving happy endings. So that's obviously what they did, right? He's going to that place and paying a girl to do that, not forcing himself on somebody and making somebody do something to him. He's going and paying for a girl that takes payment to give happy endings, right? And people want to compare that to the whole Watson situation. Like, shit like that is what freaking, like, you fucking people have no clue about anything.
Yeah,
like,
it's not the same.
Hell no, it's not the same. And that was a one-time situation compared to how many 60 ever whatever girls that are now Kim Ford about Watson.
And see, I think I'm way off. I kept saying in the 20s, but it got up to like almost 60 women, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it like a horrendous amount? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
60 women ain't lying. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
That's just absolutely ridiculous.
I'm going to do the number picker now. Make sure everybody has their numbers in. But yeah, that's like, yeah, Ryan says Kraft was doing it the right way.
And it is just, I mean, some people are just addicted to doing stuff like that. So, but it's like, you look at Deshaun Watson, you know, he's a handsome guy. He's young, rich. Why can't you just get you a nice looking woman so you can have all this?
He had a girlfriend the entire time. He still has her. The same girl this entire time.
So, like,
beautiful girlfriend. So that's what I didn't understand.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Like, come on, bro. I don't know. It's so weird to me.
Like, your girl ain't, like, I don't know.
Take care of business. She's not fulfilling your needs or what? Like, what's cracking here? Yeah, I don't.
And then she stays with him through it all.
Of course she is. She's not walking away from that contract.
Like, she ain't having to screw him. She ain't having to do nothing, obviously, to collect the money.
Yep.
Melissa said 66 women was confirmed by the New York Times.
That is, that's unheard of right there. That's crazy.
All right, let's draw this. What the hell?
It's kind of bright on my end. I can't even see the number. Oh.
It's 98.
98? Okay, let me take a look here. 98. Okay, I see a 70. Oh, David, what 97? David McNew.
Congratulations. Let me scroll up and get it up here. Congrats, David. Get this autographed Ambry Thomas card. Put this in here. I guess next what I wanted to talk about was the injuries, you know, on the D line that we've had. Obviously, Armstead's out for a few weeks. We lost Maurice Hurst for the year, and I heard today, I'm not sure what the injury was, but that Ridgway's out for a little bit. Kinlaw was brought in to do some team drills and stuff on Saturday, and then they kept him out of practice today. So there's that. And we've signed, a D-line seems like every day since to be camp bodies, because now one of our deepest positions isn't looking so deep anymore.
Yeah. It's crazy how it's just inside guys, though.
Yeah.
That's what's weird. It's not the edges or nothing. The Leos is always, it's crazy.
So, I mean, that's kind of scary. Like, like here we go with the injuries, already. It sucks that wasn't Maurice Hurst just coming back from injury.
Yeah,
it seems like?
yeah. I think it's a wrap for him. Like he has so much promise, just can't stay healthy. Like for him to tear his biceps and be gone for the season, like it's a wrap for him. And I don't think he should come back. Like, he's good, but he's not that Jimmy Ward or Jason Red type of guy that you'd be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take another chance on him. Like he's just serviceable. I think, we already got that Kalia Davis that's going to the practice squad, stuff like that. So, yeah, I just think that the inside it has some depth. We signed that Robert Kimdichie who can play inside.
And I
We
heard
got
he's doing really well in training
Oh,
camp
good.
already.
So we got Robert Condici, Charles Omenihu. We still got Kevin Gibbons. So we have some inside guys. And then from what I heard too, that Drake Jackson was also playing some interior because they want to use him kind of like the Arden Key situation where, like in the NASCAR packages, they put in like a speedster inside next to either Armstead or Kinlaw, and then let them eat from the inside while you have Kamiko Toure and Nick Bosa on the edges. So yeah, if he's used like Arden Key his first year, just to get familiar with both inside and outside, I think that would be good. So because Arden Key was pretty good for us last year, especially the second half of the season. So
Yep. Um, Also, who was started practicing more since Saturday is Mike Mcglinchey. And I heard that when, obviously, we all know by now that the O line's been struggling. But we, to be fair, we haven't had Trent Williams in there. We hadn't had Mike Mcglinchey in there. I have heard when they're in there and the first team starting line is in there, it is a little bit better. But I think it's hard. Like we talk about all the time that that's a position group that needs to be working in sync with each other. They need to get that chemistry with each other. And I think that's a little hard to do when you're flip flopping the center position every other day. Brunskill, like I've seen some videos and heard too that his snaps like are going any which freaking way, you never know. He's fumbling the snaps, so it's like I don't know how we're expecting this O line to get into sync and work together when like you're changing out such a vital position in it. It's like I understand you want to see how each is doing, but like see how Brunskill's doing with the second team, like with all the backups, like have him work over there and just keep, if you think Brendel's the guy, whatever, you've seen Brunskill play center before. Like he's played center for us before.
and was terrible.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. Like I'm so worried now with this whole center position because
Well, you know what's so funny, Mariah? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we did our position breakdown, and we had so much. We were so positive, like, oh, we got Jake Brendel who's been working with Trey for over a year now, and all this other stuff, and Aaron Banks, and we're kind of excited, especially knowing that Mike McGlinchey was going to come back and stuff like that. But now it's starting to be kind of worrisome, just like you said. It's like we talked about this on No Border show. Shout out to Ryan and Waruna, we're on their show, and we talked about this. We're just like, man, we understand first week or two in training camp there's going to be some musical chairs going on with the offensive line, but at some point before you get to preseason, you got to have a solidified first team offensive line. You got to get Trey these first team reps with all the 5 guys who are going to start to get some continuity. The fact that Grant said that Trey was running for his life makes me uneasy. So offensive line to me is still an issue. Like I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I heard that Jake Brendel was doing okay, but Daniel Brunskill, we seen what he can do in 2020. He was horrendous at center. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather him stick to right guard, or if he can get beat out by somebody. Like I haven't heard anything about like Jalen Moore out there kicking butt or Justin School, whoever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, so I don't know what's going on, but they're playing musical chairs with the offensive line right now. They're shuffling around, which is understandable. I get it. You got to see who's the best fit at every position. Like there's only 2 positions. I feel like there's only 3 positions that are probably solidified, with Trent Williams, Aaron Banks, and probably Mike McGlinchey. But that center and right guard position is where, they're getting so much pressure from, and we need to have the best players possible come in and get some continuity for Trey. Like I said, week 1 for preseason game, we better have a solidified offensive line. Otherwise, it's going to get ugly real quick. I mentioned this before, and I'll say it every show. We play Aaron Donald twice, and I get it. Mike McGlinchey takes his lunch, but he's still Aaron Donald. Like he still can wreak havoc if need be. We got AFC West, and every one of those teams have pass rushers.
Yep.
Every one of them. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. What you call it? The Broncos got, I can't remember the guy's name. Bradley Chubb and the guy that came from Dallas, and you got DJ Jones over there now. The Chiefs got pass rushers and Frank Clark, and they have pass rushers. We had to play the Commanders, who have a solid defensive line. We have Tom Brady. Like, come on, we need to get this offensive line solidified pretty quick here, because Trey running for his life is not it. That can't happen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Troy, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I hope you get well soon. Get some rest. Stay hydrated.
And shout out to everybody in the chat too. You guys, we love you guys. You guys are there for us every week. I know we say this all the time. I'm gonna continue to be a broken record, because I really truly do appreciate you guys, man. I love you guys. You guys, make it worthwhile whenever me and Miriah have a show. We love our football, and even if there was nobody in the chat, we would still talk about it and be happy. But you guys make it worthwhile being in our chat. So.
Yep, I agree. There was once upon a time that we were talking and there was nobody in the chat. So
yeah, talking to ghosts.
Yeah,
I like David's comment about why not try Donovan West.
Yeah, I heard that he's been working with the third team, and I think that's more. I hope as we get further into training camp that we do see him get some work. At least move up like into the second team and then into the first team, and to just see like. He's a natural center, so I don't see what it's going to hurt. I haven't heard, that he's doing anything bad, with the third team. Of course, he's not, a big focal point because he is working with the third team. But
yeah,
I mean, he hasn't been, a topic of conversation. He hasn't been in the not so good list. So I think, I agree. JV says Treader looking more and more like a phone call. I don't think so. I personally don't want him, just for the fact like he doesn't even practice. So like what good would that? Like we need somebody that can build the chemistry with Trey Lance, and having a center that can't even practice, like he doesn't practice whatsoever. He only plays in games. So having a center that only plays in games, like, I mean, that I don't think that does us one bit of fucking good, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. That's to be honest, that's the only position group on the field right now that I'm worried about. Like everybody keeps saying, people have been talking about the Trey struggles and him going 3 for 10 and 8 for 15. But it's funny how people are like, oh, he went 8 for 15. Yeah, but 2 or 3 of them were drops. So people ain't looking at the whole. That's why I always say forget about stats and look at the eye test. If you think about it, he went 10 or 11 or 15 if he didn't have those drops. So, it is what it is. And people are, already talking about Sudfield. Oh, he went for 10 for 10. I heard that Grant say like all his throws were under 15 yards. So,
Yeah.
You can't always be looking at stats and saying somebody struggles, but this offensive line, and I get it. Me and Miriah ain't dumb. We're not going to have a Pro Bowler at every single offensive line position, but some nice veterans or somebody who has some experience, helps. And I've said this before. It's like, and I get it because people always come at me and say, you got to get people take their bumps and bruises. I agree. But when your quarterback is taking bumps and bruises, your offensive line cannot be, in my opinion. Like you're already going to have your offensive line so taking bumps and bruises. So that's, to me, is not a good recipe for success. I'm not saying that we're not going to be a good team. All I'm saying is when you have if all the offensive linemen had played before, and like if we had the offensive line from last year, I wouldn't be worried. They gave Jimmy had 3 Pro Bowlers on that line, Mack, Tomlinson, and Williams. Now we got 1 Pro Bowler and possibly 3 people who have never started a game. So now you're looking at 3 offensive linemen, possibly who hadn't started a game, who are going to be taking their bumps and bruises against elite NFL pass rushers in games. And I get it. We have elite pass rushers on our team. But I'm just saying, game situation is totally different. People are going 100%. So you got these dudes, going against our offensive tackles and guards, or offensive center and guards who haven't had experience. And now you have Trey who hasn't had experience. So now you're looking at 3 or 4 people on the offense who are taking bumps and bruises. And that to me is not cool. So.
Yeah. And like I said to you before we went online, like taking bumps and bruises and taking literal bumps and bruises, like that's not something we want to see happening to Trey Lance right now. Like we need him to make it through the season, not on injured reserve, not looking like Jimmy up in the freaking nosebleeds watching the game, like. Melissa says, can y'all have Steph on again? She's been at camp. Yeah, I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
want to work with Steph again. I will reach out. I know she's busy doing her thing. And, shouts out to her and, to all the content creators, to everybody that's at camp, putting in the time, giving us all the info that we need, the play by play of what's happening. There's like been so many great people out there, you know, giving us everything, like tweets all day long, what's going on, the numbers, the videos, the pictures. And I always see, like them tweet something and people be like, oh, well, where's the video or blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
like Shanahan is stingy with his stuff. Like there's a huge, long portion of training camp practice and everything that people can't even have their phones out. Like you can't
Yeah.
even have your phone out to be tweeting. Like he does not want stuff getting out. So there's only a little small portion that they're allowed to video or take pictures of, and that's it.
You know, what's so funny about that? We are talking about fans earlier, talking about being old school and new school and stuff like that. I'm the type of person that's more old school. When I'm there, I'm enjoying the moment. My first thing isn't, oh, let me take out my phone and record it. Like I'm trying
Yeah.
to see what's going on the field and get a good eye on it. I'm not going to sit here and trying to be like, oh, let me like screw that. I'm there for my entertainment, not yours. I'm there. I'm keeping it real here. Like I'm there for my entertainment. Like I want to see what's going on. I'm not going to sit here and record everybody's every move, just so people, because half the people don't care anyway. Like they're just so. To me, it's like be happy they're giving you a report and saying, "Oh, Aaron Banks is looking good." Like I think Marco, you know who Marco is, right?
Yeah.
He sat there and told everybody like, "Oh, Aaron Banks is looking good." Well, where's the proof? And how about a thank you? How about, appreciate the update, not, well, where's the video or it didn't happen? Like these fans are so, I don't know,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, some of these fans are just unbearable. Some people are just there enjoying the moment. They don't want to take out their phones and record. So I get teased all the time because I go out there, like I'll go on family vacations or whatever the case may be with the kids and stuff, and I won't take that many pictures because I'm enjoying the moment. I'll take
Yeah.
pictures of them, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, like I'm sitting there looking at the ocean or whatever, and I'm taking out my phone. That's just not me. I want to enjoy what's in front of me without my phone. So
Yeah. And I seen some people were talking about it in chat earlier. And the whole when people like say something like for the whole Deebo situation, for example, prior to the draft, a lot portion of the fan base with everything that was coming out, thought, okay, it's a good possibility that Deebo could get traded. After the draft, a lot of people changed their minds. Okay, he's probably not going to get traded because we're not going to trade him for future draft picks, right? And yet, now that Deebo signs, like people are so quick to pull fucking receipts, like you're not allowed to change your mind. Like you're not allowed to, have an opinion and then, facts change and you learn more about the story. Learn more things, new details come out and, you're allowed to change your mind. You don't have to have one
absolutely.
opinion on something and stick with that the rest of your fucking life till you die. Like people can change their minds. That's what we want. We want people to learn, to grow, to change. Like I don't know where this came out now that we're so quick to pull receipts because somebody had a change of opinion or
That's so
because somebody
dumb.
thought like it was possible that Deebo could get traded and now he's signed. So, oh, you're stupid. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about because you said, Deebo could get traded. He could have. It was a
Yeah,
possibility. And if you think otherwise, then you're stupid.
and he
Like, so
asked
pull
for it.
those fucking receipts.
Yeah, and he asked for it. It's not like people pulled out of thin air. He asked for a trade. So
Yeah.
for people sitting there thinking like, oh, well, he might get traded, and then they pull, like you said, pull out receipts. Oh, you said back in March 30th he would be traded possibly. Yeah, possibly he could have. So what's the difference? But yeah, it's so ridiculous. Imagine if D'Amico Ryans was coaching and halfway through the season he said, you know what? Week 1, I thought Eric Armstead was better on the edge. Now in practice, he's been killing it at tackle. But you know what? I don't want to look stupid, so I'm going to keep him on edge and let these defense struggle. No, he didn't do
Exactly.
that. He changed his mind. Screw that. Eric Armstead is not good. I mean, I wouldn't say that. Eric Armstead is not as
Effective.
integral to the defense, effective to the defense inside. So I'm going to move him inside to have the defense be more effective. And he did that. The defense changed. We were like top 5 the second half of the season. We made the playoffs. So you're okay to change your mind. And if you see some new developments and say, oh, you know what? Nah, I said in March he might get traded. Now I'm thinking he might stay. That's okay.
Yeah.
These pulling of the receipts. Oh, you were wrong. And yeah, okay, so what? You act like you have never been wrong at one point in your life. Like these people, like I said earlier, we live in a narcissistic mentality. People want to be the first to put the story out. People want to be quick to prove somebody wrong and all this other stuff. But it's like I mentioned before, he's on the team now. He signed an extension. Let's be happy. People are pulling out Jesse's old videos and it's just
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's like, come on, people. Like, is
Like
your life
Jesse's
that
one of the
miserable?
most real people that I've ever met, and like to see him get dragged because he changed his mind or something, or whatever, and yet so many people support other content creators that are just fake and lying to you all the fucking time, like sugarcoating everything and telling you what they think you want to hear. Like, you support those people, but the people that want to stay true and be real and tell you like it is, and grow and change their minds, and like, those are the people that we're dragging. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's crazy talk.
Hey, Swan. um let's do the giveaway for this whole package deal. We're doing a Deebo card, a Trey Lance card, Brandon Ayuk card, George Kittle, and a Richard Sherman, because he's been having our back all week, letting the NFL know that we're gonna have the best DBs in the
Defense, that our
NFL.
defense is going to be for real. Yep.
So everybody, drop your numbers. We'll do a giveaway for all 5 of those. Whoever wins will take home all 5 of them.
John V, you're dismissed from this giveaway. No, I'm just playing. 19, 5, 11, 35. Good guess.
That's my number, 35.
Is that your favorite number for real?
Yep.
That's funny. Mine's 23. Let's hold everyone accountable. I agree, JV. Like, it's just ridiculous, man. Oh, you were wrong because you had new development and you changed your mind. It's just so crazy to me. Or what if, or another analogy, what if Kyle said, you know what, Deebo, he's a receiver. There's no way. I saw what he can do as a running back, but let's keep him at wide receiver and don't use him out of the backfield. If he had that mentality of like, oh, there's a new development, I can't change my mind, we wouldn't have made the playoffs.
Or Mr.
Yeah.
Kyle that's so against, like he wants a pocket quarterback, and this statue quarterback has always been his way to go. Well, now he changed his mind and wants a more mobile quarterback into Trey Lance. So if Kyle didn't change his mind and his way of thinking and want to get better and change shit, to upgrade the offense and all this, then we would be stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo for the rest of our lives. Is that
exactly.
what you want?
Yeah, these people, man, yeah. Shame on you for changing your mind because you saw a new development that happened. So ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Transparent coverage got me so hyped. Yeah, Ayuk, and I heard, at first it was like Travarius Ward was like, locking it down, but I heard Ayuk has beat him deep a couple times. So, Ayuk's like, it's so different too when you put the pads on because you can get a little bit more physical and, stuff like that. So that's why I said the pads separate the men from the boys. You see who really going to go out there and shine now,
Yeah.
Rather get kicked in us 10 times.
And then I heard too, and I told you this when we did our roster breakdowns, that I thought that Jeff Wilson and Hasty would be the odd running backs out.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I hear that Jeff Wilson looks terrible. And Hasty's just, the one trick pony, whatever that like, and
Jordan Mason's catching everything out of the backfield, and
so Jordan Mason's going to take that Hasty spot.
And see, remember when we did our breakdown? I put Jordan Mason on the practice squad and kept Jeff Wilson, but I better not change my mind. People might say something and think I'm, oh, but you said that Jordan Mason wasn't going to make the team. Hey, I did say it, but yeah, it's crazy.
That's why it's a too early breakdown before even training camp.
Yeah,
we have no idea how people are going to show up to freaking training camp.
Yeah. Yeah, JV, you're right, man. If our offensive line is bad, you might as well put 100 pounds on Kittle. Say, you know what, you're going to be our right guard of the future.
Yeah. Everybody got their numbers in? Give you guys a couple more minutes. I think I had saved some stuff. Oh yeah, this was this. Um, I mean, the Dream says, "Hi, Miriah and Teran. Great show on No Border Sports Channel. How worried are you about Mike Mcglinchey?"
Mm, I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, I was a little bit. I wasn't really worried about his weight. I was worried about his strength. I don't know if I'm worried about his strength because with that leg injury, I don't know how often he was able to do any squats and stuff like that. To keep that strength because as you guys know, anybody on here who lifts weights, stuff like that, especially as an offensive lineman, your legs are your bread and butter. That's all your leverage. You're bending down half, majority of the game, so that you got to keep them legs strong. Your quads and stuff like that. So I mean, I think McGlinchey is just who he is. I don't see him getting any better, but I don't see him getting any worse. I think he's just going to be who he's always been. He'll be a solid right tackle who excels in the run game, but not really the pass game. Hopefully, he's cleaned that up a little bit. But yeah, I think he's going to be who he is. If he's 100% healthy, he's going to start at right tackle, which makes me feel better because then we'll really only have to worry about right guard and center. But Daniel Brunskill, as much as I don't really want him to start, he's a solid right guard. I just don't want him at center. Like, please don't have that man play center for us. But interior offensive line should be good. But Mike Mcglinchey, not too worried about them. We're talking about the coaching staff and trusting them. You can question them and still trust them at the same time. But Mike Mcglinchey, from what I heard, he's looked okay out there. And so, yeah, I think he'll be fine and he'll start week 1 if he's healthy. So what about you, Miriah?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried as long as, I mean, we'll see how he makes it over these next couple of weeks. Now that pads are on, he practiced today, and they said he pretty much had a full practice. So, as long as we don't hear tomorrow or the next day or whatever that something happened, that he had a flare up or, now that he put weight on it, it's, but yeah, I mean, like Swan says, I'm much more worried about center and guards and than I am Mike. So, um, and like you said, he is who he is. I mean, he was a great, run blocker. He's all right in pass protection. I think the thing, with Mike, a lot of people just, he makes one big mistake at the most crucial time, and people just hang on to that. He could have a perfect game, and he makes one mistake in pass protection, and that's what people remember. So I don't think he's as bad as what people make him out to be.
Yeah, he definitely does it at the wrong times. I feel like, dang, Mike, like, if you're going to hold on first down. But it's like 3rd and 4 or something. And we're like, okay. And then all of a sudden he'll hold. And that was 3rd and 9. I'm like, oh, man, like you had to hold right now. Like, it's just, yeah. I feel like he does make mistakes at the worst time. So.
Yeah. All right, let's do this drawing.
All right.
87.
87. Let me see.
2 high numbers.
87. Looking like 68 to me.
All right.
Let me see. Let me look one more time.
Yeah, because there's not too many. So.
Yeah, not too many. 49ers and Lakers for life. 68 is the highest I see.
Yep. Congrats, Tia. Take home all 5 of these beautiful cards. Get those packaged up and sent over to you on mail day. I think I have both.
With her being a Lakers fan, can we only give her 3 of the 5? No, I'm just playing.
I think I have both the winners' addresses already. So
I'm a Laker hater, Thea. Sorry.
Congrats.
You're welcome, Tia. Don't hate TL. I knew that was coming.
Congratulations. But yeah, I think that's all we really have.
Yeah.
We'll see how training camp goes the rest of the week now that pads are on.
Mm-hmm.
Like a couple people said, we were on No Border Sports on Friday. Make sure if you guys haven't checked that out, you guys go over there and do so and subscribe to them. Great guys over there. We were on Dion's show on Wednesday, Niner Gang podcast. If you haven't done so, make sure you go check that out and subscribe to him as well.
We had a busy week last week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday podcast.
Yep. Um, and then yeah, we'll be trying to do some more collaborations with people. I know you guys brought up Steph, and definitely we'll be having No Border Sports on the show as well. So yeah, make sure you
All
guys
right, fam.
continue to show everybody love.
Well, thank you
Got
guys for tuning in.
content creators out there putting in the work. It ain't easy. You guys just sit down in front of the screen and go like, no, like a lot of work behind the scenes gets put into this. A lot of work for those people that are flying to San Francisco to whatever to go to training camp. It's a lot of work. So make sure you guys show love. It only takes a second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's free and it helps everybody out a lot. Out tons. Like you have no idea how much it
Yeah.
means and helps out.
And everybody in this chat is perfect, so I'm not worried about you guys. But man, when you guys see somebody, sharing content and somebody hits them up with like, well, where's the video? Just be like, man, just show appreciation. Just say, you know what, where's the thank you? Or appreciate you showing me, giving me an update like this. Where's the video crap or video or it didn't happen and I think you're capping? Like, come on. Let's show these people some respect who are there and giving us some kind of an update.
Yeah, and real quick before we go, I have noticed that there's still, people posting stuff like, oh, well, if you're on Trey Lance's side, you'll be happy with this video. And this is coming from beat writers, that are there at camp. And, it's like, I feel like, we already let the media, and that's the beat writers included in that media, tear us apart enough. Like, Jimmy's gone, so if you're on the Jimmy train, like go with him or get on board with the trade train because Jimmy's gone. There's no point of us to keep fighting, like we have a chance to be really special this year. So like, we don't need to spend the whole season at each other's throats. Like we have all these other fan bases to be fighting with. We don't need to fight with each other. So just be respectful. Like it's not that hard. Like your mom always told you, if you don't got nothing nice to say, don't fucking say it. Just because you want to act so hard on the internet, you're not about that life. Exactly. So just calm the fuck down. Okay. All right.
Amen to that.
I appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Everybody stay safe.
All right, fam. You guys have a good evening.
Hopefully I'll try to bring you, I don't know, TL's so busy these days that we can't bring you guys no decent scheduled shows. So
yeah, sorry about that. Work has been kicking my butt and taking these classes. So yeah.
But we'll try to bring you guys something soon.
I gotta pursue and upgrade my education level. You know what I mean?
All right, fam. We appreciate you guys being here. See you soon.